Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Archie, and today I'll be talking to you about life, law, and the rules we all play by. Thank you, and I hope you're going to find this interesting.
Have you ever sat around the dinner table and played a game of Uno? A game we all know and love. And yet, a common problem many families and friends face is a differing of rules. Some allow the +4 to be placed consecutively, and some don't. Yet, we've all had that experience when we've done something in a game, and someone from across the room shouts, "You can't do that!" And chaos ensues. Well, this is a pretty active demonstration of why the laws are so important. They lay the foundation for our civilization, and they represent the values we as a society should be believed to be upheld. And if the laws aren't enforced, then chaos and discontent tend not to be far behind. No different than how we would react if someone were to cheat in a game. For most of us, we spend the entirety of our early lives in school. And this gives school the special responsibility of teaching us the importance of the rules. Following school rules like wearing a uniform or not cheating on tests shows us the importance of, yes, the rules themselves, but by extension of that, the importance of the greater laws of society. And for most law-abiding citizens, this will always be a good thing. That's all of us, right? Law-abiding citizens, I hope. Well, it poses a good question. Are the laws always a good thing? Well, I can certainly tell you that throughout history, this hasn't always been the case. Personally, the one that comes to mind for me is Nazi Germany, with the rise of anti-Semitism and the horrendous laws that supported it. However, we must realize that racism, in its most vile forms, can arise anywhere. For example, in 1935, the Jim Crow laws, which institutionalized racial classification and segregation, were alive and well. It's here, in the good old US of A, that the Nazis took their inspiration from. Or for those of us who are British, we mustn't forget the 1948 Nationality Act, which targeted those of Caribbean origin during the Windrush era of the UK, reducing the rights of UK settlers. Just like in Uno, the rules are in place to ensure that the game is fair. And like in Uno, the rules protect the peace and protect those who cannot protect themselves. Think back to those family games of Uno for a second. Do you ever notice how it tends to be the louder, more aggressive family members who, as soon as they notice the slightest instance of cheating, immediately blow a gasket? Now think back to the quieter members of your family. These are the people who get cheated. These are the people who suffer in silence. They have no one to fight for their rights. A quote by Gandhi sums up my point here quite well. The true measure of any society can be found in how it treats its most vulnerable members. The laws should be in place to reflect society as a whole. The laws should give everyone an equal footing in life and the same set of opportunities. The law should not be in place to suppress the weak for the sake of the strong, and likewise, the strong for the sake of the weak. Both forms of suppression are apparent throughout history and in the present, and yet both are equally as flawed. An equally positive change has occurred. One that's seen our system evolve. And the laws themselves evolve. Just as society, and by extension, the purpose of the laws evolve as well. At school, the rules dictate what a student can say, when a student can speak, and even what a student can say. And previously, I framed this as a good thing, but here's the catch. What if it wasn't? For a moment, imagine that you were a student, and you had a teacher handing out grades based on who they liked. This would fail to adhere to the fairness we believe a core value of our schools. Well, you being the good Samaritan you are, go and tell your principal, who listens to you, turns around and does nothing. The teacher gets off with a slap on the wrist and goes back to handing out grades based on who they liked. This would devalue the law itself, the rules themselves, take away from their meaning, right? So what we can take away from this is that the laws are only as valuable as their enforcement. Our laws do change, and they do evolve. But how do they change? Well, they change by setting new precedents. We trust the members of our legal system to evolve the law for us. And one of the most fundamental precedents ever set throughout history was for a man to be convicted guilty, then it must be beyond any reasonable doubt. And one of the cases that really reinforced this precedent was O.J. Simpson versus the people, an infamous case if there ever was one. And within this case, one of the best legal lines ever was delivered. If it doesn't fit, then you must acquit. Referring to the glove that O.J. Simpson would have had to wear if he had killed his wife. Though debate is still fiery and fierce on whether the verdict itself was correct or not, we can take away that the precedent was still set and fundamentally reinforced. The purpose of the law is to give everyone a chance. To everyone, no matter who you are, what you look like, or even who you like. You get your day to defend yourself. And yes, our legal system has been taken advantage of before, as the Nazis did. But personally, I'd like to believe that this is more of a reflection of society itself than the flaws of our legal system. But as tides change and seasons shift, we've seen a sort of shift from once an adult sphere, the international community, a place of change, who was in the past dominated by adults, and the voices of the young were muted. But as the centuries and decades have shifted, the youth of today have an almost equal opportunity to fight injustice, and with it, an equal responsibility. No matter how small the change you make, the impact is still there. And I'd like to leave you all today with a simple question. Will we opt for what is easy, or will we opt for what is right? Thank you. Have a great day.